The Jews got together on the basis of being Jews. The Irish got together on the basis of being Irish. Now, what basis you and I are going to get together on? We've got to have some kind of basis. But as soon as we mention the only basis that we've got to get together on, they trick us by telling our leaders, you know, that anything that's all black is putting segregation in reverse. Isn't that what they say? So the people who are black don't want to get together because they don't want to segregate. Isn't that what they say? So the people who are black don't want to get together because they don't want segregation. See, the man is tricky, brothers and sisters. I mean, the man is tricky. He's a master of trick. And if you don't realize how tricky he is, he'll have you maneuvered right on back into slavery. I shouldn't say back into slavery because we're not out of it yet. These are traps that he creates. If you speak in an angry way about what has happened to our people and what is happening to our people, what does he call it? Emotionalism. Pick up on that. Here's a man who's got a rope around his neck. Well, he's screaming, you know. The cracker that's putting the rope around his neck accuses him of being emotional. You're supposed to have the rope around your neck and holler politely, you know. You're supposed to watch your diction, not shout and wake other people up. This is how you're supposed to holler. You're supposed to be respectable and responsible when you holler against what they're doing to you. And you got a lot of Afro-Americans who fall for that. They say, no, you can't do it like that. You got to be responsible. You got to be respectful. And you will always be a slave. As long as you're trying to be responsible and respectable in the eyesight of your master, you will remain a slave. When you're in the eyesight of your master, you got to let him know you're irresponsible. And you will blow his irresponsible head. Then again, you got another trap that he maneuvers you into. If you begin to talk about what he did to you, he'll say that's hate. He's teaching hate. Pick up on that. He won't say he didn't do it, because he can. But he'll accuse you of teaching hate. Just because you begin to spell out what he did to you. Which is an intellectual trap. Because he knows we don't want to be accused of hate. And the average black American who has been real brainwashed, he never wants to be accused of being emotional. You ever watch one of them? Yeah, you watch it. Watch it. That real bourgeois black American. He never wants to show any sign of emotion. He won't even have his teeth. You can have some real soul music. He'll just say you don't like it, doesn't move him. I watch him, I study him. And the reason he's trying to pretend like it doesn't move him, he knows it doesn't move him. And if it doesn't move him, so they can't feel it. They got no soul. and he's got to pretend he has none. Just to make it with them. This is a shame. Really. And then you go a step farther, they get you again on this violence. They have another trap wherein they make it look criminal if any of us, again, who has a rope around his neck, or one is being put around his neck, if you do anything to stop the man from putting that rope around your neck, that's violence. And again, this bourgeois Negro who's trying to be polite and respectable and all, he never wants to be identified with violence. So he lets them do anything to him. And he sits there submitting to it non-violently, just so he can keep his image of responsibility. He dies with a responsible image. He dies with a polite image. But he dies. The man who's irresponsible and impolite, he keeps his life. But that responsible Negro, he'll die every day. But if the irresponsible one dies, he takes some of those with him who were trying to make him die. So the era that we're living in is an era in which we see the people in the East on the rise and the people in the West on the decline. That is, the dark world is rising and the white world or Western world is having its power curtailed. This is happening, and it's happening every day. Even in take right there in Saigon, in South Vietnam. Don't you realize that 20 years ago, those little people over there didn't have a chance? All they needed would be a battleship to sail up to the coastline, and everybody over there would bow down. Yes, sir, boss. That's how they said it, same as you said it over here. But not now. Now they don't yes to nobody's boss. They get them a rifle and run boss clean on out of there. The entire East, the dark world, is on the rise. Whether you like it or not. If the dark world rises up, it puts the white world on the spot. It puts the Western world on the spot. And it puts you and me on the spot. Why does it put us on the spot? Because although we're in the West, we're from the East. Many black Americans don't realize this. You are not of the West. You are in the West. You're not a Westerner. You're from the East. You're not white. You're in the white world. That doesn't make you white. You're as black as you ever were. But you're just in the white world. And next month they'll come up to show you another trick. They'll come at you and me next month with this Negro History Week, they call it. And during this week comes around once every year. And during this 1 week, they drowned us with propaganda about Negro history in Georgia and Mississippi and Alabama. Never do they take us back across the water back home. They take us down home, but they never give us the history of back home. They never give us enough information to let us know what were we doing before we ended up in Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Texas, some of those other prison states. They give us the impression with Negro History Week that we were cotton pickers all of our lives. Cotton pickers, orange growers, mammies and uncles for the white man in this country. This is our history when you talk in terms of Negro History Week. They might tell you about one or two people who took a peanut and made another white man rich. George Washington Carver, he was a scientist, but he died broke. He made Ford rich. So he wasn't doing anything for himself and his people. He got a good name for us, but what did we get out of it? Nothing. The master got it. It's like a dog who runs out in the woods and grabs a rabbit. No matter how hungry the dog is, does he eat it? No. He takes it back and lays it at the boss's feet. And the boss skins it, takes the meat, and gives the dog the bone. And the dog is going right on hungry again. When he didn't know, he could have gotten the rabbit and ate it for himself. And boss wouldn't even have caught him with it, because he can outrun the boss. But it's the same way with you and me. Every contribution we make, we don't make it for our people. We make it for a man. We make it for our master. He gets the benefit from it. We die not for our people. We die for him. We don't die for our home and our house. We die for his house. We don't die for our country. We die for his country. A lot of you all were fools on the front line. Were you not? Yes, you were. You put on the uniform and went right up on the front line like a roaring hound dog, barking for master. And when you come back here, you'll have to bark since you got back. So Negro History Week reminds us of this. It doesn't remind us of past achievements, but it reminds us only of the achievements we made in the Western Hemisphere under the tutelage of the white man. So that whatever achievement that was made in the Western Hemisphere that the spotlight is put upon, this is the white man's shrewd way of taking credit for whatever we accomplished. But he never lets us know of an accomplishment that we made prior to being brought here. This is another trick. The worst trick of all is when he names us Negro and calls us Negro. And then when we call ourselves that, we end up tricking ourselves. As my brother Cassius was on the screen the other night talking with Les Green about the word Negro. I wish he wouldn't have gone so fast, but he was in a position to have done a very good job. And but he was right in saying that we're not Negroes. And have never been until we were brought here and made into that. We were scientifically produced by the white man. And whenever you see somebody who calls himself a Negro, he's a product of Western civilization. Not only Western civilization, but Western crime. The Negroes, as he is called, or calls himself, in the West, is the best evidence that can be used against Western civilization today. One of the main reasons we're called Negro is so we won't know who we really are. And when you call yourself that, you don't know who you really are. You don't know what you are. You don't know where you came from. You don't know what is yours. And as long as you call yourself a Negro, nothing is yours. No languages. You can't lay claim to any language, not even English. You mess it up. You can't lay claim to any name, any type of name that will identify you as something that you should be. You can't lay claim to any culture as long as you use the word Negro to identify yourself. It attaches you to nothing. It doesn't even identify your color. If you talk about one of them, they call themselves white, don't they? Or they might call someone else Puerto Rican to identify them. Mind you how they do this. When they call him a Puerto Rican, they're giving him a better name. Because there is a place called Puerto Rico. You know, they at least let you know where he came from. So they'll say, whites, Puerto Ricans, and Negroes. Pick up on that. That's a drag, brother. White is legitimate. It means that's what color they are. Puerto Rican tells you that there's something else, came somewhere else that they're here now. Negro doesn't tell you anything. I mean nothing. Absolutely nothing. What do you identify with? Tell me. Nothing. What do you attach it to? What do you attach to it? Nothing. It's completely in the middle of nowhere.